In past episodes, I've been talking about the purge. Things where people are being canceled left and right. Lately, the big news is Gina Carano. She's the lead actress in the Star Wars, The Mandalorian series. Great series, by the way. And she's been canceled. Hi, welcome back to the Colorblind Architect Podcast. I'm your host, David, and today we're going to talk a little bit about free speech. So, as I mentioned in the intro, Gina Carano was just canceled. She was fired from Lucasfilms for the thought crime of having an opinion. So, this is really, really annoying that this just keeps happening, and it seems like nobody's willing to speak up, and as soon as they do, like Gina Carano did, she gets canceled. Now, I can't vouch for everything that she's ever said, because honestly, I don't follow her. I didn't really know that she even had political opinions that differed from the rest of Hollywood. So I was actually kind of surprised at the news story. I thought it was just a great show. The Mandalorian, I enjoy it. It's entertaining. Obviously I don't take it to heart because frankly, it's just a stupid show, right? But for some reason, there's a bunch of leftists out there that were really offended by a particular thing that Gina said. She said that the cancel culture is akin to the Nazis going after the Jews. Can we even breathe? Oh my God. Oh, how wait, isn't the left always calling the right-wing Nazis? So, shouldn't they be canceled too? Wait, I'm sorry, what are the rules again? So, here's why free speech is so important. You can't just cancel people because of things they say. They could be just having a bad day. They could have just misspoken. They could also just have a really unpopular opinion that may be horrible, but then again, maybe it might just be that the rest of the population has the wrong opinion. Let's just take, for example, science. I mean, one of my favorite examples is if you look at science, the popular opinion in the days of Galileo was that the earth was flat. Well, guess which misfit turned out to be correct? Okay. And what about Albert Einstein? The rest of the scientific community at the time thought it was ether. They thought that the universe was filled with ether. And they also thought that time was constant. They thought that gravity was constant. And Albert Einstein kind of shook things up by being a misfit and saying, no, actually it's this. And he had the math to prove it. I mean, let's give him his props. I mean, Albert Einstein was freaking awesome. But that's the point. If we're constantly just canceling people because of what they say, their opinions, their thoughts, we could be missing out on the next big revolution in thought that could actually bring us to a better place. And then again, it could just be some little hateful punk, white supremacist Nazi who doesn't deserve to be listened to, but he also doesn't deserve to be shut down. And I'm going to make this very clear. See, I absolutely am, I'm disgusted by the anti-Semitism of a lot of neo-Nazis. You see them occasionally on the internet, and it's just vile. It's just hateful stuff. And I want nothing to do with it. Now, do I try to shut them down? No, because they've got freedom of speech, and so do I. And I don't want my freedom of speech being taken away. So I don't take it away from others. So, hey, leftists, cancel culture people, maybe just think about this. Think about this. You remember that old poem that, said, first they came for the handicap, but I wasn't handicapped. Then they came for the gays, but I wasn't gay. And then they came for the Jews, but I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for me, and no one was left to... Yeah, that's a reference to the Nazis. And what's happening right now is a fascistic tendency of the left. And I know, all you idiots out there that think that fascism is a right-wing thing, let me disabuse you of that notion. Nazism is National Socialism, which is a derivative of Marxist thought that believed that capitalist institutions like companies and these big corporations could be melded with the government in order to create a national economy that can excel. Now, the irony is, these same leftists that think that Nazism is part of the left have absolutely no clue that the modern day equivalent to the Nazi fascists is the Chinese Communist Party, who have been doing state capitalism quite successfully, in fact. And the reason why they've been quite successful at it is because we keep giving them all our money. I mean, I'm just gonna leave it there. But remember, we're funding the Chinese Communist Party through our actions. When we buy all this cheap Chinese crap, right? When we keep doing stuff like what that what's his name, the current doofus in the White House, what's his name? Oh yeah, Joe Biden. Yeah, and all these things where he's like saying, oh, you know what, it's okay for us to buy Chinese parts for our electrical grid. And I'm thinking, wait, didn't we just have this big huge fight over 5G and being scared of Huawei? And now all of a sudden we're saying, oh yeah, sure, let's let them build components for our power grid. That's not going to backfire on us at all. No. I mean, they're only our sworn enemies. Oh, gosh. It's just amazing, the idiocy of the left. But let's get back to free speech. So, when it comes to free speech, I tend towards having as maximum a level of freedom of speech as possible. And the reason for that is, like I said, we don't want to be canceled, right? It doesn't make sense for some, or even just, not even cancel. This goes far enough. We're going to be ending up in gulags or concentration camps. Do we want this? Do we want our society, our peaceful, freedom-loving society, this American Republic, the great experiment that was started in 1776, this great experiment of all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, those rights that are inalienable. Those are inalienable rights. They're given to us by God, not by the government. And so, if we're being deprived of our life or our liberty or our pursuit of happiness, now what do you think the pursuit of happiness is? Well, I would say having a job, the ability to work for a living, that is a major part of a pursuit of happiness. Okay? So, Gina Carano, I have to say, I give her props for standing up for what she believes in, and I hope she doesn't do one of these lame-ass apologies. I hope she just doubles down and says, well, it is what it is. I spoke my truth, I said what I believe, and there it is. It came back to bite me, but oh well. I'll move on. I have other things I can do. I will find a way to survive, even if that means cleaning freaking toilets in a restaurant. Yes, that's right. Because here's the thing. I don't care what I'm doing, right? And I think, hopefully, Gina Carano's in the same book. I don't want to compare myself to her, like I said. I don't know enough about her to be able to say for sure. But here's the thing that I want to share. So, if you haven't seen it, there's a fairly entertaining movie from the 1990s. I think it was actually released in 1995. Starred Michael Douglas, called The American President. So here's my question for leftists, and also to the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, the most poorly named institution, I would have to say, because that organization, they no longer care about American civil liberties. They are actively canceling people. They are doing exactly the opposite. So, I want to ask them, okay, watch this movie, The American President, with Michael Douglas. In Andrew Shepard's speech towards the end of the movie, Andrew Shepard is Michael Douglas's character, he says this:
America isn't easy. America is advanced citizenship. You've got to want it bad, because it's going to put up a fight. It's going to say, you want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours.
Now, I happen to agree with Michael Douglas's character, Andrew Shepard, in the fact, not in a lot of the other things that he said in that speech, but this one fact here, that American citizenship is hard. It is not easy, okay? You can't just waltz in and just think everything's going to be handed to you on a platter. No, you actually have to work for it, okay? You do have to work for your citizenship. Why? Because you have to be able to accept, if you're an American and you believe in the Bill of Rights, if you believe in freedom of speech, then you have to be able to sit there and listen to somebody that you vehemently disagree with. Somebody whose words make your blood curl, just boil, you know? You have to be able to listen to that and say, yes, and they have a right to say it. Yeah, that's right. You have to even listen to a neo-Nazi say horrible, mean things about Jews and say, yes, they have a right to say that. They're wrong, but they have a right to say it. Does the left still believe in that? I don't think they do. It doesn't seem like they do. The ACLU obviously doesn't care. Hollywood doesn't care. I mean, Hollywood's acting like, oh yeah, hey, McCarthyism back again. Let's start blacklisting people. Except this time, instead of blacklisting communists, we're going to blacklist freedom-loving Americans who like the First Amendment. Oh. Yeah. So, let me close by saying this. You have a right to free speech. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. You also have a right to the freedom of thought. You also have the right to say it to anybody that you want. And you know what? You will have consequences. Obviously, Gina Carano, she had consequences to her freedom of speech. She spoke her mind, and yeah, well, she got canceled. I think wrongly so, but let's face it, that was the consequence. And that's why so many people are afraid to speak up. And that's why all this stupid nonsense is taking place. It's just incredible to see how far we've fallen from the ideals that we were striving for. Even just 10 years ago. Even just 10 years ago, we still had high ideals and hopes about being the land of the free and the home of the brave. And now, We're the land of the now we're the land of the castrati and the home of the weak and effeminate. And I know, that's sexist. What I mean by that is, where are your balls, man? Where the hell are your balls? Stand up for what you believe in. Stop letting these little weenie cancel culture types destroy our country and turn it into the communist party of China. You know, this ridiculous fascistic state that they all seem to worship. Like Mark Cuban, that moron, that utter moron, Mark Cuban, and saying, "Oh well, yeah, we're not going to play the national anthem before the Dallas Mavericks games anymore." Huh? Are you stupid? You do remember you're in Dallas, Texas, right? Dallas, Texas, a place where, yes, in the actual inner city, yeah, the majority is going to be Democrat, but you're still in Texas. The majority of the people who pay for tickets to your games, who pay for merchandise, who buy the replica jerseys and all that stuff, the people who watch those games, that basically fund your little frou-frou life, you little idiot, Mark Cuban, they actually believe that flag stands for something. They actually believe that anthem stands for something important. And by you not playing it, you're basically giving them a big middle finger salute saying, yeah, you don't matter. We don't care about you. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of having to defend something that I thought we were supposed to all believe in. I thought we were supposed to all believe in the principles of the founding of this country. But it seems like half of this country, the Democrats, and those who have voted, who keep voting for the Democrats, sure seems like they've gone off the rails and they've started believing in a communist fantasy that somehow they're gonna meld corporations and government. Ooh, wait, is that Nazism? Yeah, they're gonna somehow meld these things and somehow create this beautiful utopian society. And how many times do we have to go through human misery and suffering? How many times do millions of people have to die and millions more have to suffer in concentration camps? How many times do we have to have whole nations enslaved through this horrible, evil, and wretched Marxist ideology that continues to infect the minds of these useful idiots that let it happen? I'm exasperated. I thought 1989, I thought that was the end. I thought that was when we all said, finally, we figured out that whole thing is stupid. And then we all said, yeah, let's all be good capitalists. Well, apparently, the communists didn't just die away. They just went into hiding. They started biding their time. They started building their systems. Because I think they realized that the big prize was America. I think they realized that the only way that they could enslave the entire planet was by taking the United States. And now they're closer than they've ever been. And I'm afraid they might be already too far into their seizure of power. That the whole world might already be lost. And that's something that terrifies me. The thought that we could be entering into a global socialist state where not just millions, but we could be looking at billions suffering. Do you want that on your conscience? Do you want that on your conscience, left? You Democrats? Do you want that? You want to have it on your conscience that you're going to be enslaving people, you're going to be terrorizing people, you're going to be locking people up in gulags for their thought crimes. Are you happy about that? Because apparently you are. Apparently you guys just want to punish anybody who would say anything that opposes your power. Well, just so you know, I live right here. I'm sure you can figure out who I am, where I live. And my only request is, if you're going to send me to a gulag, send me to a nice gulag. I prefer, well, I don't know. I could go either way. If you send me to a gulag in Alaska, maybe, it's nice and cold and snowy, and yeah, it's going to be a little bit miserable at times, but, hey, I'll just work hard, I'll do what I can, but I'm never going to relent. I'm not going to ever say something that I don't believe in, so I guess I would be stuck in the gulag for a good long time. Alternatively, maybe the gulag's going to be in Molokai. I mean, send me over to hang out with the lepers there in Molokai. I think that'd be nice. I'd be happy to hang out with lepers. So, I'm just saying, if you're going to send me to a gulag, send me to a good one. Anyways, I somewhat jest there, but the point is, this is going into a very evil place, and I think there's a lot of useful idiots out there who are letting this happen or helping this happen without realizing the implications of the stupidity that they're engaging in, the path towards destruction, sorrow, and misery that they're on. So how do we get out? What is the path out? Well, the path out is honor free speech. Honor freedom of religion. Yeah, that's right. Maybe read the Constitution, read the Declaration of Independence, refresh yourself on those principles, because here's the crazy thing. That's actually the solution. The solution to our problem here in America isn't anything fantastic. It's nothing new under the sun. It's go back to the Constitution and understand its principles and understand the genius of the Founding Fathers, why they set it up this way, why they designed it this way. They understood a lot about human nature. They understood a lot about the tendency of humans to become corrupt when they have even just a little bit of power. I mean, case in point is just go to any government bureaucracy. You'll find little petty dictators everywhere in government bureaucracies. And why is that? Well, like I said, even just a little power corrupts. It goes to people's head. So, what's the solution? Bring down the power. Fight the man. Not to bring about some kind of, anarchist commune or anything, any idiotic concept like that. No. We fight the power by bringing down the power and placing checks and balances on them, and treat no man above the law. This is already in the Constitution. The whole idea that Biden has been committing crimes, against the emoluments clause of the Constitution for decades. He's been taking bribes from foreign powers for a long time. And now he's president, so he should be impeached based on that. However, is he going to get impeached? No. Of course not. Because he's above the law. He's part of the in crowd. He's part of the glorious revolution. Because all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. And in this case, the Democrats are more equal than the rest of us. And if you don't know the reference to that, I really feel sorry for you. But go ahead and read some George Orwell. Read Animal Farm. Read 1984, please. You need to understand these things. And while you're at it, pick up Alexis de Tocqueville's Democracy in America. Pick up Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. Pick up some John Locke. Pick up some Montesquieu. Actually read some of the stuff that's not Marxist. I'm just saying, you might discover that Marx was a bumbling fool, idiot, evil, homicidal maniac. I'm just saying, you might discover that they're actually sane, rational people who actually had much better ideas. Possibly. So anyways, I might be going a little bit long on this video, but this is a very important topic, and as you can tell, I get very passionate when it comes to freedom of speech. And please, speak your mind, even if your mind is full of idiocy. Because I'd much rather know for sure that you're an idiot than to be just constantly guessing. Thank you. Again, Colorblind Architect, peace out.